Yeah, I want to please you. I had no idea. And honestly, I wasn't even a Keith Sweat fan, right?
What?
I wasn't. I was a hater. I've
Are
been
you
a Keith
serious?
Sweat hater. I'm going to
What?
confess because right now I'm Keith. I
Wow.
apologize. I realize now that you are a man of
I
wisdom.
think we all deserve an
Okay,
apology.
and I got to say this now because people are going to use my words before this to turn against you, and I want to just clear the air. I used to say Keith Sweat sounded like he was whining. Okay, and I want to take that. I want to walk it back.
No,
I want to
why?
take it back
Why? That's what he
because
did. He did what?
because no, because
He
he
did.
was serenading. Okay, he was his love. He was singing love, and because I know what he's about to say now, what he's been saying, women are going to say he's whining. They're going to say he's whining right now, and so I don't want them to use my words against Keith because I'm not with that. I'm for Keith right now. So let me explain what happened. Okay, so Keith was doing the concert, y'all. And he stopped the concert and he steps up and he said, look, I just want to tell y'all I'm single. I'm gonna be single for a while. Cause modern women bring less. And he kept going. He said they don't wash. I fold my own clothes, I wash my own dishes, I cook my own food. And what I need you there for? That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? So he said the women ain't been giving it up like they used to give it up. And now I'm not co-signing what he said. I'm just telling y'all what he said. Okay. Now the question is Keith stuck in the 90s, like a rerun? You know what I'm saying? Or is he like shining a light on the fact that women are still like really entitled and they asking for more, but doing so much less? Right? Like the expectations have shifted. I mean, we've seen the rise of the independent woman with this rise of liberalism, right? We just talked about it, and rightfully so, because they were repressed and held down. I get that. I feel you. But has it changed how intimacy works? Like what we really expect from a partner? Are there even expectations still there? What do you guys think? Is he out of pocket? Is he an old man who's out of tune with the times? So dive in. What are you saying? What do you think?
Who chooses Keith Sweat to take advice from? Like, why are we listening to Grandpapa? Why does what he says about relationships and people who are dating even matter to us? Nigga, you are dust. You are 70 and some change, nigga. Like earth, wind, and gone dust. You need to go on and sit down. Because here's the thing, Keith. The reason why you can't get a woman who wants to invest in you that way is because every time we see you, you have a glass of cognac in your hand. Your eyes look glossed over, glazed with a little touch of jaundice. It looks like your liver might be a little fatty and you might have some kidney issues, Paw. Nobody wants to wake up every day and have to change your diaper, wipe your butt, possibly give a kidney and deal with your bullshit, Keith. You are living in 1987. And the fact that the old ass aunties don't want to cook for you and do for you says something because they're not the women in question with this generational gap of independence. The people that Keith are talking to is your grandmama and she's still cooking. If not, they old enough and he rich enough to go order in, order out, whatever. Why are we listening to Keith Sweat? Why? With his begging ass. Why?
He said he could pull your cousin if he wanted to. What
He
you say?
couldn't pull a rabbit out of a hat that had 10 rabbits in it. He
Man,
couldn't
see,
find that.
if Keith Sweat pulled up on you, girl, you might be open to it. Why you
Right. Keith
if
Sweat,
Keith Sweat
unfortunately,
was
could not snap. Listen, he could not scratch and sniff anything on me.
No.
But I got an
okay.
auntie for him who would go for him because you're right. Some women would and should and could and they can. And Keith Sweat is
Yeah.
not turning them down. They turning him down. And we know what that whiskey dick looked like. And it's a high
No, she
possibility.
didn't.
Oh, wow.
No, she didn't.
Have y'all seen? To tell me, Keith don't look like his liver bad. Listen, he look jaundiced.
I wanna-
This
Look at
pawpaw
yeah, I
slander.
want to keep you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you want to keep us around because you need somebody to wipe your butt in a few years, Keith, when everything goes. And I get it, but go for the aunties and stop going for the young women, which has been a problem for my brothers recently. Smokey and Shannon and Diddy and all the rest
Yeah,
of them too,
how they
right?
catching strays? This is
Hey,
about
hey,
me.
hey,
Man, she
This is
getting
hey.
just all right.
I'm just
Everybody
saying
catch them today.
why Keith may not be able to pull a woman because he's looking too far down and he needs to look across to people on his level. Go for the aunties, Keith. They out here. They still cook. They know what
Devil is
jaundice signs look like. They'll
She
help
came for all the
she
pawpaws.
came for
Those
everybody.
5 or 6 minutes of pawpaw
you.
slander. Listen, this is black people problem right now. We don't value the wisdom of our elders. You always talk about the
Well,
ancestors, but then we don't listen to the ancestors. He's trying to listen.
Ancestors is dead.
Listen,
I
he's
say.
almost there. He's almost there. You just claimed that for him. You just said his kidney is
Dust.
bad, and he got gas station pills and jaundice and a bunch of other ailments, and you just put that on that man. He probably
Well,
is dating hot young honeys, and that's okay because you know who else is doing that? Bill Belichick. Since we throwing everybody in here, shout out to Belichick.
Wow.
He's doing it well, right?
Not the White King.
He's putting the White King.
how did we get here? How did we get
It's your
here?
fault, Tia. It's your fault.
I have to have White King reinforcements, right? So you put it there. So
She did.
yeah, the young honeys may have
White kings.
the young honeys are not cooking and doing the things that that's the auntie's fault. I blame the aunties for this because you don't want the grandmas because they're out, doing grandma shit, whatever they're doing. They probably, the grandmas are probably at Sunday fun day drinking mimosas because this is the new grandmas. He wants
Shit
the
he
old
should be doing.
He wants the old grandma from 1987, but they're
I
out
want
at
the
Sunday.
oxtails, grandma.
He want the oxtails and the chitlins grandmas, but they're
Yeah.
Sunday fun day. They're not available anymore. So he said, I'm gonna date the granddaughter, but the granddaughter can't cook. So why didn't y'all train them up the way I need them to be? Now that I got my cognac and his good liver, because I'm gonna claim that for him.
Okay, seriously, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jay.
Because I'm saying you guys, you Keith Sweat, you got your own money, you're older, you ain't trying to have no more kids, right? When you have a woman around, right? What else is there for her to do than have your clothes ironed and your food cooked and your stuff ready for you to go do whatever you do?
Do your show. That's a fact.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's like y'all, you clowning him, but he's saying, look, this is bring something to the table. Do something. Like
That's not what he said.
This is he's saying bring a RN certification. At least be my
That's what he want.
caregiver.
That's what he wants.
No, I mean, but okay,
Need some IHSS in this joint.
Okay, this, I realize I have to be the voice of reason here, and that's fine because I like playing the voice of reason, right? The voice of reason.
Trolling.
All right, no, real talk. This is real talk. You're gaslighting me. Oh my
I did.
God.
I did.
The level of gaslighting I haven't
Oh my
even
God.
begun to talk. And it's almost unfair because you do this professionally. I gotta.
Hold on, I have a little violin over here I want to play for you. Hold on, there you go.
Listen, I ain't scared. Okay, get it. Listen, I don't went toe to toe with my therapist before. I ain't scared. So be clear. But I realize I gotta be the voice of reason. Okay, number one, you gotta remember the era that Keith Sweat comes from. Jay said he was whining. When you talk about I wanna please you, like that speaks to a man of service. Right? What he was talking about was the lack of reciprocity. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But what I'm talking about from Keith Sweat's perspective, when you're talking about the R&B that brothers like myself and some of us who grew up in that era, we understood how the music catered to. In fact, the young brothers look back and say that was simple music in terms of how much the music catered to. Now, if Keith Sweat, any part of him was a guy who catered to women, I think it's completely fair for him to have a commentary about whether or not a giver is out here when he has resources, to Jay's point, is noticing that women don't give as much as they used to, which brings me to my second point, which is I get it. We're in a culture where we don't like to listen to the messenger, so we purposefully especially want to avoid the message. But what he was saying, though, was, is there reciprocity anymore? And what he is seeing is that it seems like, going back to the previous topic, liberalism, when it can go so far that you exclude other people, he was speaking to some of that, which is why I think these two topics tied in so beautifully. Yes, does he represent more of a conservative mindset? And yes, maybe he's outdated when you're talking about cooking and cleaning, because now people have Uber Eats and dishwashers, right? But the spirit of reciprocity can still be different. Can you at least go on Uber Eats and make the order without bothering me in terms of what I want for dinner that night? Can you at least do a couple of things to show that you are into me too, that this is not a one-way street. And the other thing is, you got to think about it again from Keith Sweat perspective. He's probably been provided for most of the women that he's probably engaged with for the last few decades. So it's not like he's a person who is sitting there leeching on, expecting women to come with their purses, which seems to be a problem for these highly educated women who got all this money to travel everywhere. But the minute that you ask them to put $1 on the table, they're aghast. So yes, does Keith Sweat have a point? He's always had a point, right?